Bench for Hume City FC, number 5, Braden Spink, number 11, Josh Bingham, number 12, Jacob Adams, number 13, Damon Camilleri, number 20, Frank Musasa, and number 21, Aiki Tsukamoto. Your head coach for Hume City is Nick Hegarty.
Kept his footing in the area. Still Josh Hume. Oh, that is outstanding.
And him, it's a wonderful.
Behind.
Pullage. You kept the Roberto.
Europe swings the ball in.
Good evening and welcome to Lakeside Stadium for the opening game of round 2 of the Senol NPL Men's Victoria season. South Melbourne returning to Lakeside for the first time since their Australian Championship semi-final victory here against Heidelberg, and heading into a new frontier at the moment, juggling not just league football but OFC Pro League football, and on top of that, before they resume that duty, looking to make it 2 wins from 2. We'll just take a moment's silence now to remember South Melbourne club legend Michael Mandalis, who passed away last Saturday.
We remember firstly Marco Folk, a member of our 1972 championship winning side, a Hall of Fame inductee, and someone who, in between the sticks, was one of the great players to play for our club. And then we remember the Alice legend Mikhaili Mandalis, a 5-time championship winner, a friend and mentor for so many at the club. Whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, whether you're a committee member, whether you're anybody involved with the club, you know who Mikhaili is, and we'll miss him dearly. We extend our condolences to both families who are in attendance tonight, and we ask all fans to stand up for a minute's applause to remember the lives of these 2 great human beings. We thank you so much. Go South.
A minute's applause there for South Melbourne legend Michael Mandalis, a 5-time championship winner, Victorian Football Hall of Fame inductee, and South Melbourne Hall of Fame member. A much-loved figure here at South Melbourne, sending all our love to the whole Mandalis family and everyone at the South Melbourne family as well, honouring the legacy of a club legend. My name is Nick Tabano and I'm joined here today by Adam Sarakoglu for all the action today. Adam, it's set to be a big one. South looking to go 2 wins from 2, but plenty of changes from the side that beat Avondale. Meanwhile, Hume looking to get off the mark this season.
Yeah, just waiting for the South team sheet to come out for every NPL Victoria game over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a bit of a mystery box, isn't it, Nick, with obviously the OFC duties being mixed in with the NPL. A total of 7 changes to the starting 11 from the one that we saw last week in that magnificent 2-0 win against Avondale. There will be 2 changes for Hume City as well. So very quickly, the 7 ins: Lucas Inglese, James Lackey, Aaron Cox, Andre Skopoulos, Andrew Mesaruni, Ethan O'Sullivan and Charlie Leacher, all in this starting 11. Entirely out of the squad tonight are Jordan Lampard, Max Mikola, Jacob Aliopoulos and Jack Painter-Andrews. On the bench here tonight, but starting from last week's squad are Bernarda, Giannakopoulos and Uchida. 2 changes for Hume City. They went down last week in a 3-1 loss at home to Altona Magic. It's Godfrey Tabale who starts up front, and he is going to take the place of Josh Bingham on the bench this evening for Hume City. Aaron Kelver gets a start as well. It's Braden Spink, the former Southmat, who is potentially a sub up the sleeve of Nick Hegarty here tonight. What a lovely setting this is, Nick. Sometimes this place has its knockers. I don't know why. We are at the venue of last year's grand final, a beautiful Thursday evening at Albert Park. You couldn't ask for anything better on a Thursday night.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. Really looking forward to getting this one underway. So much on the line, particularly Hume City looking to bounce back after that loss against Altona last week. But as you said, all eyes are on South Melbourne just to know who was going to play tonight, because they're playing in 2 days' time against Auckland in their first game of round 3 of the OFC Pro League. But all focus is on tonight for South Melbourne, looking to make it 2 wins from 2 to start the season. Interesting to look at fullback tonight with both Jordan Lampard and Jack Painter-Andrews out, as you mentioned. It looks as if Ethan O'Sullivan and Andre Skopoulos are taking the position at fullback, and that's been sort of the lock. Always that South Melbourne 11 has been those fullback positions. So fascinating to see how that one plays out today, as Andrew Mesaruni already looking to get forward. And Oldfield clearing it away. Yankovic down with the header, partnering Lucas Inglese in defence. As you mentioned, Adam, 7 changes for South Melbourne today. The side that defeated Avondale 2-0 on the road last week. Free kick going the way of Hume City, who, well, they had a goal in around a few seconds from now through Chris Engelhardt, but then Altona roared back into the contest and came away with that 3-1 win. Hume City, who looking for their first points of the season, would love to do it here against South Melbourne, but Adam, the form line against South in the last few years, and the momentum is certainly stacked against them when you look at the streak. I believe it's something like 11 games without a win against South Melbourne in all competitions, and 11 games in the league as well. Their last win in the league coming all the way back in 2019 against South Melbourne.
There was the cup win as well, of course, in 2021. You're talking about the back four for South Melbourne. The main talk for Hume City with their lineup in the early stages of the season and with what happened with their squad changes over the summer was more to do with what was happening up front. And already Josh Bingham, who had the captain's armband starting last week against Altona, is already not getting a start here tonight. Godfrey Tabele got subbed in last week and is now starting, and he might be one of the targets here for Burkhan Kurta with this corner coming up. Obviously some big names have left the club with big scoring capability for Hume City in recent times. Lloyd Isgrove, Harker, of course. Quite a few former Hume players now with both Green Gully and Dynamo. Fresh area there. There's a chance here at the back. No issues in the end for Lopez. Just fisted the ball back up in the air. Still a dangerous situation for South to deal with. It's going to come back to Kurta. One of the few mainstays in this Hume City squad. Retained from last year. Got away from him in the end. Zabele could pounce here, does. Keeps it in Hume possession. Steve White sending it out wide. Koda Kadua was okay on debut last week for Hume City. He's back in familiar surrounds here at Lakeside this evening. There's Charlie Leach. Regains at midfield. It's sent forward. But nothing happening up front for South in the early stages. So Hume City actually had it on their terms, I think, in the first half last week against Altona in that season opener back on Friday night, but just completely fell away in the second half, and Magic just ran completely over the top of them and actually ended up winning that game quite comfortably. Hume's goal, as you mentioned, Nick, coming very, very early in that game. Engelhardt's little lob over Casey Wendt, the brand new goalkeeper for Altona. After that, not much to write home about for Hume City, and perhaps with this change that we've seen with Bingham making way for Godfrey Tabele, Nick Hegarty already looking at different ways to provide some cohesion up front. Here is Tabele, still on the ball here, goes into the area, finally does hold up. The South numbers drop back late. He's looking for help. O'Kane surrounded. White tried to play in toward Kurta, who fell over. O'Kane goes in to help. It's played out into some space and blasted away by Ethan O'Sullivan.
Hume looking dangerous in the early going in transition, Adam. Godfrey Tabele obviously adding something a little bit different, a little bit more speed than Josh Bingham, who, as you mentioned, the captain of Hume. More of a traditional number 9, even though it seems as if every coach over the last few years has preferred to deploy him out wide. But Tabele in leading the line today as Pasquale looking to get things moving here for South. Ball over the top, looking for the run there of Andrew Mezzaruni. Just clipped the heels there of Shrivers. And a free kick awarded there to Hume City. Andrew Mezzaruni's been a fascinating one. Didn't play a lot of football last year, but in the OFC Pro League, he's become something of a specialist off the bench for them. Has scored 3 goals for them as a substitute. Scored a stunning winner against Tahiti in the dying moments with a free kick, and gets his opportunity to start today for South Melbourne. Famous name around these parts is the Mezzaruni surname. Beautiful night for football here at Lakeside Stadium. The sun starting to set on the right-hand side of your broadcast screen. Engelhardt, good control there. Playing it out wide to Koda Kador. playing against his former team for the first time. Engelhardt does well to cut inside. They got a touch to it. Here's Adisu Bayou bearing down on goal and a key intervention from Inglese. And Hume have another corner. So putting this South defence under pressure without some key players. No Eliopoulos, no Lampard, no Painter Andrews. One eye on Saturday for the home side. And it's Hume doing all the attacking early doors. Burke and Kerdar on corner duties. It into the box, and it's nodded straight up into the air. Steve White's there to head it back towards goal. Bayou does well to bring it under his control. Goes to ground the edge of the box. White dinks it over the top. Kerdar going to get between two South players, but O'Sullivan and Leach did well, and O'Sullivan looking to spring the counter-attack. Swibel couldn't chase it down. And Aaron Calver is there to mop up. A very handy signing is Aaron Calver for Hume City, a player with a bucket load of professional experience in the A-League for Sydney FC, Perth Glory, Western United, and spent quite a bit of time in Asia as well before making his return to Australia with Hume City this off-season. So a very handy in for Nick Hegarty's side. Skopoulos happy to let that one bounce and go out there for a throw-in. Kane. Engelhardt does well. Way back there to Calver. Bayou looking short for Kerdar, but Charlie Leach read it well. Looks to play it in towards Swibel. Swibel just couldn't get a touch in, but Shriver's getting across and puts it behind for a corner. So some first real attacking opportunity here for the home side.
Will be South Melbourne's first look at a corner. A couple of times they have been able to win it back around midfield, and they're just blasting it forward at the moment. There is no one set back. They've pushed up quite a bit in these early stages. Hume have had most of early possession. It's Andre Skopoulos here with the corner. As the shadows creep longer here. Twilight fixture here on a Thursday night to kick off round two. DeBelle's just engaged in a one-on-one here. Aaron Cox provided a decent amount of pressure. Eventually DeBelle goes down right in front of the South Melbourne bench. And we've seen an early yellow card dished out by Jack Morgan. So Aaron Cox in the book early here. Here's Calver. This is his first start for Hume City. Aidan Coyne, another experienced inclusion for Nick Hegarty in this new look squad. Talked about the changes up front. Defensive setup for Hume City looking very different now as well, of course. Taylor Shriver's, it's just good to have him back playing NPL Victoria football. Parked in at left back. Chris Oldfield, a familiar name up at the Valley Park. Back in goal now for Hume as well. Changes everywhere you look. Of course, South Melbourne, since the end of last NPL Victoria season, have been so busy. As opposed to Hume City, who were a bit of a mystery coming into Ballet. Was in a good spot, but can't carry the momentum through. There might still be a chance here for Engelhardt. Plenty of blue shirts getting in his way, though. Eventually one back. Pasquale, one way to the other. Skopoulos. Just a gentle ball in the direction of Cox. South will get the throw. In the seasons where Hume City were thereabouts, either making the finals or not being far off making the finals, it was these sorts of fixtures that prevented them from finishing higher up the table, perhaps getting a better seeding, if you will, in the final series. And against this particular opponent, it's been so long, as Nick mentioned, 2019 in the league. They did get the better of South Melbourne in the FFA Cup in 2021. But it's been lean picking since. Went down 2-1 here last season at Lakeside. And this is going to be a second booking of the night already. It's a bit willing out there early. The card was shown to Kota Kador. And he also picked up a yellow card last week against Altona. A few cautions to his name early in his Hume City tenure. Now a free kick for South Melbourne. Sinisha Kadhadzic just laying out a couple of instructions before the ball is taken here. Placed it in a dangerous area. One South man had gone down well before the ball had arrived. It's retrieved by Pasquale. Regained by Jankovic. Bayou assisting with the turnover. Engelhardt over on the left side. Saw him mostly on the right last weekend at the start of this match for Hume. And so far this year, he's Hume's only goal scorer.
Culver under pressure there from Aaron Cox. So if they were to cause the turnover, albeit momentarily. Kador looking centrally for Kurtar. He went to ground the edge of the box. Jack Morgan deciding to play on. Didn't see enough to award the free kick to the visitors. Swibel, heavy touch and out of bounds for a throw-in. Still looking, of course, he's only played just over the 100 minutes of NPL Victoria football, but looking to open up his account. He's been prolific in the OFC Pro League, similarly to Andrew Mezzaruni. 5 goals to his name already, the top scorer in that competition. Kurtar with a switching ball towards Engelhardt. He went to ground, and again the Hume City bench asking the question, as is Kurtar, but it's going to be a throw-in to South Melbourne. Visitors not best pleased. They believe that should have been a free kick. Jankovic. Pasquale looking to step forward. He feeds it out wide there to Cox. Lopez sending it long and the foot race is on there, but Cox was really going to be able to chase that one down. So a bit of a holding pattern early for these two sides. Played twice last year, Hume and South. A 1-1 draw in Broadmeadows. A 2-1 win for South Melbourne at this very venue. Ren Nagamatsu scoring a double that day. He's since departed South Melbourne, but was on the score sheet, I believe on debut that game as well. Pasquale out wide to O'Sullivan. Glares there. And to feed it through. Lucky. The collision there in the middle of the park, and the ricochet might work out here. Swibel going to feed it out wide to Cox. Isolated here against Coyne. Cox cuts inside. Lucky. First time ball into the area. And the flag is up there against Charlie Leach. And a moment of relief there for the Hume City defence. A lot of new faces in this South Melbourne team compared to last week. Both Andre Skopoulos and Ethan O'Sullivan were playing in the 23s last week, but been drafted in. And really the storyline over these next 5-6 weeks, will be probably waxing lyrical about this on all South Melbourne broadcasts, is how they manage competitions beyond the Melbourne hub when they still have to go to Fiji and the Solomon Islands and back to New Zealand. Here's Engelhardt bearing down on goal, and his cross takes a deflection and it's out for a corner. So another corner here for the visitors. They're starting to pile up early. Still yet to really test Harvey Lopez's goal. So see what they're able to do from this one. Steve White now on corner duties, the veteran. Tall timber up from the back here for Hume as White. So right into the mixer. Lopez got a double fist to it. Kurda sized it up. Plays it all the way back there to Kador. Touch there from Engelhardt, but well defended. And South are able to repel for a moment. White back over the top. Jankovic is there to nod it away. Control there from Kurda, and it's out of bounds, and a throw in here for Hume City. A good spell here from the visitors.
It is what we saw last week, though, Nick. That's potentially what we need to look out for Hume tonight. They barely got through an hour, let alone the 90 against Altona. Chris Oldfield hasn't had a lot to do so far this evening. He'll restart from the back here. Calver. A Calver-Coyne combination on his right side, then Engelhardt further down the line. It's a completely new setup for Hume on the right side of the formation. We're used to the likes of Mark Hotching and some of the other players that have left now on that right side. We come all the way back to Calver. No way through for Hume City right now. In the direction of Bayou. Jack Morgan has had a bit to do already so far. He's already given out 2 cautions. Free kick for South Melbourne here. It was Lackey that was fouled. Not much to report from the first 18 and a half minutes here at Lakeside Stadium. A Thursday night fixture. It's going to be a huge one tomorrow night. 5 different games to keep track of. But we're in prime time and standalone here this evening. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. Did hear, Nick, a little quip about a red zone sort of setup needing or being required if you want to take in all the games tomorrow. I wonder if FE reached out to Scott Hansen just to help out and help us get through everything that's going on tomorrow. But it was a theme last year as well. So many Friday night fixtures over so many different weeks throughout the season last year. I know clubs obviously have their preferences. Funnily enough, Hume City, typically a Friday night team, they've seemingly gone to a Saturday time slot this year, but it is continue. I mean, I love talking about the NPL Victoria fixture because there are so many mysterious things about it, Nick, and you compare it from round 1 to round 2 where everything was so well spread out, and it's going to be a big one tomorrow night. I do like the Thursday night fixture though, especially early in the season.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. I mean, love to hear what people's setups are going to be, as you mentioned, or if... I mean, Scott Hansen is in his off-season at the moment, Adam, so but I'm sure he's enjoying a nice break. But, yeah, it is fascinating to see how the games are... It's never really the consistency of the schedule of week to week. It's always chopping and changing. But beautiful night here for Thursday night football as Jankovic stepping forward from defence. Cox into the box. Leach. Pasquale. Back out to Cox in a crossing position. Cuts one way and back the other along the deck. Was looking for Leach, and it's cleared away again. And now a chance for Engelhardt, who's been busy. Looking for the run there of DeBelle and Inglese getting back, and the flag is up against Godfrey DeBelle. Lucas Inglese, a South junior, has come through the ranks and starting to establish himself over the last few years as a regular in this South Melbourne team. Bit of a Mr. Fix-It at times, playing as a midfielder, a centre-back, even at times at striker. Here's Lackey. Turnover in the middle of the park and a chance again here for Hume. Kerdar. Now Engelhardt isolated here with Skopoulos. Coyne on the overlap. Here's a chance for Hume. Coyne along the deck. No one waiting for it. Cador trying to chase this one down. Big challenge there from Lackey. Does he keep it in? No, he doesn't. Out for a throw in there for Hume City. Despite really neither side being able to test either Javi Lopez or Chris Oldfield, Hume probably have had more of the play in their half. A lot of forays into the box, a lot of corners, but nothing really yet to test the Spaniard. Coyne's ball over the top. Gleze and DeBelle collide. Works out here for South. Yankovic. And again, not on the same wavelength there as Zweibel, and playing right into Hume's favour. And there's a player down here for Hume City, and it's Taylor Shrivers who's gone down off the ball here for the visitors. And as you mentioned, Adam, he's made his return last week after a year on the sidelines with an ACL. Last saw him at Green Gully in 2024, and a bit of an awkward one there. Well, his physio's out on the field, so we'll see. Hume City are forced into a change. Braden Spink, who is defender by trade, started in the back four last week. Might be called upon here for Hume to play against his former side. They've also got Jacob Adams, along with Josh Bingham, of course, who's more of an attacker, and Frank Basasa and Aiki Tsukamoto on the bench. But this is a big blow here for the visitors if Taylor Shrivers can't continue.
And nothing stood out when we saw it on replay as well, Nick. He was just merely playing the ball back to Chris Oldfield and went down immediately. No contact, no obvious visible reason why he should have gone down. He doesn't look like he's in a hell of a lot of discomfort right now. There is one medical staff member out there attending to Shrivers at the moment. He's going to hobble off to the sideline at the very least. Looks like he probably will be okay. Lower leg concern perhaps.
Actually, it does look like they are going to make a substitution. Taylor Shrivers' day is coming to an end. And it is going to be Braden Spink coming on. So, disappointing news for Taylor Shrivers, who was out for all of last season. And his second game back, his Thursday evening comes to a premature end. And Braden Spink is on in his place. He started alongside Shrivers last week and now out there playing against his former club for the remaining hour or so of this one, Adam.
So now we wonder if Shrivers was carrying something coming in. Early substitution, a forced one for Nick Hegarty. And we did get to see Braden Spink against his former club. Hume have been keen to go quick so far. What they're not doing very well is creating chances. And that has been the issue in these early phases of the season. You even look at the goal they did get, which was basically at the start of the game last week for Engelhardt. And that was a chip over the keeper. Nothing conventional about that goal for Hume City. Here is Engelhardt. Certainly a threat on this right side. Coyne, Bayou, Ball was placed well for him, but he was struggling to keep it under control. O'Kane might have just been held back for a moment. Engelhardt out for Curta. Don't see him on the right side too often. He's played the cross in here. Kadua went for it. Lopez happy to concede the corner. Is there much tall timber that can come in and have an impact here? It looks like we are going to see Aaron Calver sneak in for this corner ball. Will be Burkhan Curta as usual to send it in for the visitors. He'll go along the ground. I think DeBelle was the target there. Bayou will play back out. White takes a shot and it goes in. That's all it takes. A bit of space. Take the shot and it goes in for Hume City. It was somewhat cavalier. It just fell to him. Boots a ball and in it went.
For Hume City, number 6, Joshua O'Kane.
It was definitely Steve White. Don't worry about what we heard from the PA system here. Just blasted one. And a lovely little finish. Hume City, for the second time this season, take an early lead. I won't say, Nick, that it was completely out of the blue. They have had the lion's share of possession, especially in their front half. We talked about their inability to create decent chances. Sometimes you just got to crack one, and sometimes it goes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Not sure if it took maybe a slight deflection off Lucas Ingles there, but as you mentioned, Mark, he was in...
Goal scored for Hume City was by number 8, Steve White.
He was in a great position to shoot on the edge of the box, was unmarked, and that's a beautiful finish in the end. Regardless, a goal is a goal. And South Melbourne find themselves behind, but as you mentioned, Adam, Hume back in a bit of deja vu for them, leading. What have they learned from last week? That's the big question. In fact, just looking through my notes here, I believe that's Steve White's first NPL Victoria goal as well, Mark. Mark. Adam. Sorry, Mark Ivkovic is definitely watching on. As Adisu Bayo looking to play it through. Here's O'Kane, and his shot goes straight through to Harvey Lopez. But, Steve White, first goal in Victorian football, coming across from Melbourne Knights at the end of last season. His 68th appearance in the state. Here he is, the goal scorer. Coyne. It's not a bad ball over the top there. Bayou did well to get a touch on it, but it's cleared away. Pasquale back to Inglese. Hume's early dominance paying dividends on the scoreboard through that goal. They give away a free kick there in the middle of the park. Be fascinating to see what South Melbourne do as this game goes on. They still have a lot of firepower on the bench, even without the likes of Mikola, Lampard and Payne Andrews and Aliopoulos. Noel Bernarda, Yuki Achita and Tom Giannakopoulos, 3 of their usual starters all on the bench, but they got football on Saturday. That's going to be the interesting part, where the priorities lie and how many minutes they've all got in them tonight as well. Ishveer Singh, who's a young attacker as well, a chance to make his NPL debut for South Melbourne. Jack Pope as well on the bench too for Hellas. Lopez goes long up the field towards Swibel. Here's Leach. Out wide there to Cox. Isolated here with Coyne. Cox getting towards the byline. Plays it along the face of goal. And somehow Hume are able to keep it out. A whole heap of legs inside the 6-yard box. I think it was James Lackey who got a touch, it perhaps unbeknownst to him. But Hume are able to keep their noses in front. But still got some more defending to do here. Cox. to come in centrally and challenge there from White. Hancock starting to get involved in this game. This is trickery that almost set up the equaliser. Lackey back to O'Sullivan. South reset as we tick over half an hour played here at Lakeside Stadium. Pasquale out of bounds and out for a throw in.
What I said 10 minutes ago about the first 20 minutes having not really much to write home about. We've had a substitution and a goal since then. It's livened up a bit here now, past the half-hour mark at Lakeside. And does Engelhardt force a mistake here? The throw has been awarded to South Melbourne. Skopoulos here to get things restarted for South Melbourne. Missed times by Coyne. Engelhardt can't make anything happen. Skopoulos just into free space at midfield. Retrieved easily enough by Kota Kadua. Oldfield loads up. Inglesi underneath. Nasaruni. And will stay with South Melbourne. It's a lovely setting here. Twilight kickoff. Still in summer. You don't get many better settings than that in NPL Victoria, but it is getting a bit chilly. Debele made his run. Flag then went up. Ball sailing overhead of Swivel. Yet again, Tabele finds himself in a situation where the ball could have landed in a really dangerous spot for him. Engelhardt's also providing quite a few headaches right now for South Melbourne. And he's on top of the ball once more. Engelhardt goes in. Bayou, he does find the target. Bayou goes back. Along the ground went Kadua. It didn't work out. But Hume pressing yet again. They've had the honours here so far, 34 minutes in. South Melbourne again on the back foot. Bayou takes a little clip that happened right in front of Jack Morgan. And now they get a set piece to look at. We'll expect Burkhan Kurta to sit on top of this for Hume. They've had a couple of looks at a corner. Now they get a look at a free kick in a really dangerous spot here. I must say, Nick, it has been a pretty impressive response from Hume City after the disappointment of last week, and that was in a game that really did feel like a six-pointer, if there is such a thing as a relegation six-pointer in round one. Altona themselves had quite a lengthy losing streak against Hume that they were able to quell. The ball came toward Calver, goes over the crossbar. So Hume in the middle of a drought against South, but Altona hadn't beaten Hume City since 2009 up until last week. Altona came back up into NPL Victoria, I think it was 2019, and hadn't been able to do much against Hume up until last week, as we see South now looks to go a little quicker. And perhaps they need to. Nike just holds up now, allows some players to move up. He does take on Kadua. Got all the way to the goal line. Bayou's going to again try to release Debele, who's a long way up the pitch here. One-on-one against Inglesi. Inglesi gets him down fairly. according to Jack Morgan.
Just under 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Big challenge there from Inglese. What is a throw in there for Hume City? Steve White's goal. The difference between the two sides. As Adam mentioned, last week was Hume City were on the other end of a drought coming to an end. Will it be the opposite tonight? And them being on... There's a player down here for Hume City. Looks like it was Bergen Kadar who went down. The challenge there of two South Melbourne players, but he's back up on his feet and good to continue. Which is good news here for the visitors who lead but have already been forced into one substitution early. Taylor Shrivers, who missed all of last year with a torn ACL, going down early doors in this game. Unaware exactly of what the injury diagnosis is, but went straight down the sheds after that stoppage, and Braden Spink on in his place. Kador with the long throw. Pasquale off Lackey and out for a throw-in, and really bar that half chance that South had where really it seemed as if they were bound to equalise with the goal open, but James Lackey perhaps not knowing too much about it when it came to him. South haven't had too much or too many attacking forays and opportunities to test Chris Oldfield. Cox looking for the run there of Leach, and it's intercepted again. O'Kane. Coins pass deflected and out for a throw-in. Sun now setting here at Lakeside Stadium. Believe one of the last games here at Lakeside for quite some time. Might be able to see it off in the just behind the grandstand there, but the stands are up for the Formula One, the Grand Prix, in a couple of weeks here. Jordan Swibel looking to play it back towards Cox, and South able to win it back through Leach. They're able to manufacture something before the break. Pasquale out to Lackey. Going to take on Bayou, and he's turned it over, and Hume can go again. DeBelle goes to the ground. No free kick. Jankovic did well. Leach. Swibel back to Leach. Opportunity here for South. Lackey looking to get forward as players alongside him, but it's well defended. And now Hume can go back the other way. DeBelle. Good hold-up play and feeds it out wide to Engelhardt. Comes in centrally. Looking to feed it back towards DeBelle, and Lopez quick off his line and makes the stop. And Godfrey DeBelle is causing all sorts of problems here in the early going. Just his speed, his strength. He's been able to go toe-to-toe with both Jankovic and Inglese. Oh, and a turnover there from Jankovic. And here's Engelhardt. Plays it back across the face, but Pasquale was there to mop up. And an uncharacteristic mistake there from Jankovic. Again opening up the door here for Hume City. Oh, credit to the visitors. They've come out and executed their game plan to perfection. Really been looking to capitalise on those South Melbourne mistakes. And it for Sinisa Kahadzic to work through at the half-time interval as Cox does well to get past his man. Here's an opportunity here for the home side. Cox puts the afterburners on, but a big challenge there from Calver. Not once, but twice. Very well played there from the veteran centre-back. And Hume can just slow things down a moment as Coyne looking for the run there of Bayou. Bayou does well, holds it up. Back out wide to Engelhardt. Going to come in centrally. White. It's a safety. Challenge there from O'Sullivan, putting it out for a throw-in. So only a few minutes remaining before half-time. Still Hume City with their noses ahead, but a bit of a dangerous position here, looking to perhaps maybe double their lead before the break.
Nick, I just want to note, by the way, Chris Eaglehart opting not to try to chip Harvey Lopez, as opposed to what we saw in the opening couple of minutes last week against the debutant Casey Wentz for Altona. But I'll tell you what, if he gets in a bit of space on that right side, he's going to cause some havoc in this league, that's for sure. And we saw it with that last bit of play that he had opted not to shoot that time. And Godfrey Tabele, I think he's providing a bit of a point of difference as opposed to what Josh Bingham's going to give you. He's just looking more lively up front at the moment. Hume happy to isolate him a little bit. He's going to be caught behind this time. And Glaze gets boots a ball. Bayou's made some decent runs at the top as well. But it's a South Melbourne ball right now. It's been played in pretty well for Messarouni. A decision to be made here. South are going to get the corner. They had one from this side pretty early in the game. They did have that one moment where the ball pinball just in front of the goal line didn't go in. Oldfield was out of position. And there was an empty net available to South. They couldn't put it away. Another corner for Andre Skopoulos. He'll open up the angle. Pasquale set the task though. Gets it back now in a bit more space. Pasquale. It goes over the head of Jankovic. Foot race to chase it down. I think Bayou was happy to see it out. In fact, Hume are going to get the ball back here. And they'll get the plaudits here in the first half. 2.5 minutes to come. We have seen Taylor Shriver subbed out of the game. Still unable to tell exactly what might have happened, other than maybe he just wasn't 100%. Looked like a lower leg concern for him. Certainly wasn't any sort of contact injury. Engelhardt again wins it back and played it nicely for Kurta, who makes a dashing run. Bayou, that's a great setup, and it does eventually go in. It's 2-0. South Melbourne in all sorts at the back.
Goal
The setup was
for
exquisite
Hume City
for Hume
FC.
City. The initial shot
Number
did not
7,
go in.
Adisu Bayou.
Bayou's going to get the credit for the goal, but it deflected up, and in it went. And Hume making a statement here to open up round 2.
Yeah, Adam, that's a massive, massive blow before half-time to strike, and that was huge there from Hume City. Adisu Bayou did so well. He's been brilliant today. He's been a player who's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. We haven't seen him been able to recapture his best form that we saw at Western United. He did so well. Big deflection there, and I mean, it's either behold the stuff. We've looked back at the replay to see whether it'll be him or Godfrey Tabele who gets credit for that goal. But nonetheless, they all count the same. And Hume City, 2 goals to the good going into half-time. And South Melbourne right now, well, they've got a bit of an interesting 45 to come here, where they're able to turn this one around, because really, it's been Hume who have been doing all the attacking in the early going here. Looking full of energy in the first 45 minutes here at Lakeside Stadium. A free kick awarded there to the visitors. Disabayu with his first goal for Hume City. After leaving Western United, he had some time at Green Gully and then at Preston for the Australian Championship, and now landed at Hume. 2 minutes
The fourth official has
of added
indicated
time
there'll be
here.
a minimum of 2 minutes of added time.
To wonder what the team talk will be from Sinisa Kohadzic. To try and manufacture a comeback here. There's Leach over the top to Messarouni. Is there still time for South to manufacture one last opportunity before the break? Rooney with a heavy touch, and it's cleared away. Tabele again going toe-to-toe with Inglese, and he does well. Did so well there to put Inglese under pressure, and he wins the throw-in, and that little foray almost celebrated like a goal from the Hume City bench. Nick Hegarty will be so pleased with what he's seen in the first 45. And you have to wonder, Adam, if the message will be just more of the same, and have they learned? That's the big thing. Have they learned from last week's mistakes? Of course, they've gone 2 goals to the good, so it's one thing better than last week. It'll be a big final 45 to see if they're able to close this one out. Bit of defending, though, to do in the final moments of this first half. Giving away a throw-in a dangerous position. Of course, no Max Mikler on the pitch, so one weapon nullified. Swibel's ball into the box. Lackey chasing it down, and he wins the throw. So is there time enough for one last throw in here for South? And Jankovic and Inglese have gotten the call to come up from the back. We'll see what Ethan O'Sullivan can do from the long throw, sizing this one up. Sullivan into the box. Snotted away. Leach back into the mixer. Pasquale. Tabele again. Got a key foot in. And that's half-time here at Lakeside Stadium. And Hume City are up 2 goals to the good.
Half-time in the
goals
NPL
from Steve White
Victoria,
and
round
Adisu
2.
Bayu are the difference here between the two sides. Hume City
South Melbourne
are 45 minutes away from their first league win against South Melbourne since 2019, and their first points of the new NPL Victoria season. Adam, it's been an incredible first half for the visitors, who find themselves 2 to the good, and the Australian Championship champions find themselves behind at the break with some soul searching to do in the next 45.
You can understand potentially why they just look a little lethargic out here tonight, don't they? Hume City's full of all the running, they have all the energy, and for that reason alone, we're probably not that surprised to see a 2-0 lead for Hume City. It'll be fascinating to see what South do bring out in the second half. And Siniša Katazic, well, he's got to do a lot of coaching now. This is going to be a big halftime talk for him. And for Hume City, they are sitting pretty right now. They have one hand on the points and the 2-0 lead going into halftime. We are now going to take our break here on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. Thursday night football to open up round 2 in Senol NPL Victoria. It's South Melbourne 0, Hume City 2.
Coming off number 21, Sebastian Pasquale. Coming on number 99, Jack Pope.
Welcome back to Lakeside Stadium. Second half about to get underway here. South Melbourne 0, Hume City 2. Hume closing in on what will be their first win against South Melbourne in all competitions in 5 years, in the league in 7 years. And South have responded by making a triple change at half-time. Ishveer Singh on for his NPL Victoria debut, along with Jack Pope and Thomas Giannakopoulos. Coming off Marko Jankovic, Geordie Swibble, and just getting confirmation of the third change for Hellas. And I believe it is Seb Pasquale who has been replaced here for the final 45. Of course, South Melbourne in OFC Pro League action on Saturday, so keeping some of their players ready and rested for that, amongst the others that are either on the bench or out of the squad entirely, including the likes of Noel Bernardo and Yuki Achita, who didn't come on for the second half just yet, and Jordan Lampard, Jack Payne-Andrews, Jacob Eliopoulos and Max Mikla. It's great to have your company here for this Senol NPL Victoria men's fixture. Nick Tabano and Adam Sarakoglu here to take you through the second half. Hume City in their red kits going from right to left, and they've also made just the one change. Taylor Shriver's forced off with injury and Braden Spink replacing him, but they're 2 goals for the good. And looking very likely to come away with their first points of 2026. Here's Cox. Plays it into the box. Singh. Good first touch here from Ishveer Singh! What a response after the break from Hellas! And what a way to mark your NPL Victoria debut. Ishveer Singh, with one of his first touches in the league, has halved the deficit, and Hellas are right back in this one. It's a great ball into the box, and Singh, beautiful finish there past Chris Oldfield, right into the top corner. And South Melbourne are right back in this one. And well, a bit of a curse to the commentator in that Hume were looking like they were hoping to potentially build off that 2-goal lead and cruise to victory. Suddenly, a cat has been thrown amongst the pigeons, and South Melbourne are right back in this one, Adam.
Well, you want to talk about instant impact. But Nick, looking at the replay, if you're Nick Hegarty, I think you're quite disappointed. There was a few red witches hatched there in the box. They were completely static there, Hume City. And they've allowed their lead to get cut in half here. DeBelle all over Inglese. Wow, what a fascinating little game we have here to start round 2 in Senol NPL Victoria for season 2026. Ishveer Singh immediately puts one away. We have a 2-1 game. As Nick mentioned, 3 changes from Snisha Kadhaji at half-time. Some of which may have been planned, some of which may have been tactical after the 2-0 deficit. Now we have another run being made here. The ball's going to be sent out wide for Lackey. It was a decent run by Cox, but he couldn't find a way forward. Lackey's ultimately going to leave it behind. Interesting that we saw Kador choose to hold on to the ball there, not clear out. The whistle did go eventually. Some conversations being had with the officials. Don't quite know where to look right now here at Lakeside Stadium. After what was, for the most part, a lacklustre first half hour. It's been all happening since. There's Pope blasting forward. Ball went vertical. As it came down, Kador pounced. Calvar had a bit of space at the back, but was under just enough pressure to force a quick clearance. Misseroni did well. South with all the running early stages here. Leach going all the way back to Inglese. Lopez just on the back foot for a moment. For the first time tonight, South have looked like they've settled in. Sullivan. Thomas Giannakopoulos, one of the new players out there. Giannakopoulos, Singh, who has just scored, and Pope. The three new men out there for South Melbourne. One force change already for Hume City. Taylor Shrivers couldn't get through the first half hour. Braden Spink making way for him. Free kick here for South Melbourne. They want to get on with things quickly. Where's all this energy suddenly come from for the hosts? Runs all the way to the line. Will be out for a goal kick. It's chalk and cheese, Nick. Only 6 minutes in, and this second half so far looks nothing like what we saw in the first.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. I mean, the response out of half-time, it's been so impressive from South Melbourne. I wonder if Sidisha Kohadzic put the rocket up them at half-time and, really got at them at that break to try and see a bit of a response. And exactly what we've seen in these first 5 minutes has been just perfect from them. Exactly what they would have wanted to have drawn up at the break, and the exact sort of response they would have wanted. And getting that goal back quickly and halving that deficit, suddenly it's Hume that are going to have to do a bit of defending here, because South are coming in with all the momentum. Inglese towards O'Sullivan. Bayou does well. Here's Giannakopoulos, who came on for Marko Jankovic at half-time. Leach. Turnover in the middle of the park. Kadar goes to ground and wins the free kick. Hume with plenty of experience out on that field as well. The likes of Chris Oldfield and Aaron Calver marshalling things defensively. Hoping that the two of them are going to be able to provide that necessary experience from the back to get him over the line. A very experienced spine when you've still got Steve White out there as well, and Josh O'Kane. And well worked down this left-hand side, and it finds Engelhardt and couldn't get the shot away. It was a key intervention there from Skopoulos. Coin back into the box, but it came off the outside of his boot, and it's out for a goal kick. But Hume City still asking questions, still presents a threat going forward. And there is a player down inside the box here for Hume. It's Chris Engelhardt, who's gone to ground after a challenge inside the 18-yard box. Hume City, of course, as we mentioned a bit earlier, have already made the one change with Spink on for Shrivers, but do have some attacking options. Josh Bingham and Aiki Tsukamoto, two of those players that they might look to. Josh Bingham was in the starting 11 against Altona last week, but was one of those changes. It's Godfrey Doberle coming on, or starting ahead of him today, and he's been causing all sorts of problems. And Chris Engelhardt looks a little bit worse for wear at the moment. The physio's out. And this is scenes that you don't want to see here. Engelhardt just pulling up a little bit lame after that collision, but good to see he's back up on his feet. So that's a positive here for Hume City. And he's going to be able to walk off under his own power. So good news there for Hume. It was looking a lot worse for just a moment. Now he's able to jog it off. So good news there for the visitors that Chris Engelhardt should be good to go. He'll just have to exit momentarily. And play continues here. South Down 2-1. Able to get one back courtesy of Ishveer Singh. Engelhardt back on the field. Now for Hume. Lackey calls for a handball. Go unanswered. Lackey isolated here with Kador, and Kota Kador did brilliantly. Been very impressive here against his former team. Sending it long towards the Belay. Strong challenge from Inglés. They did well to get a foot in. Giannakopoulos. Ever versatile is Tom Giannakopoulos, can play in both that centre-back and defensive midfield roles. Here's Cox getting forward down the left. Still going here, Aaron Cox. In a crossing position here, has players in the middle, looking towards Singh, and Calver got ahead to it. Mezzaruni. It's past the couple. Singh comes up with possession. It's cleared away. Tussle there between Inglés and Debele, but Giannakopoulos was there to get across, and it seems as if every time the ball is near Ishveer Singh at the moment, something is happening inside the 18-yard box. He's looking very, very dangerous. Leach. To get things moving again. Assessing his options and playing it back. Inglés. Now O'Sullivan. Lackey offering short. Pope. Here's Leach in some space as Debele closing him down and was able to feed it through to Mezzaruni, but a big challenge there from Calver. Now Hume looking to spring back the other way. O'Kane, beautiful twist and turn, and plays it over the top towards Engelhardt. The foot race is on here against Skopoulos, and Skopoulos does well getting back. And the youngster did beautifully, and he puts the ball out there for a throw-in.
It was Skopoulos who Engelhardt ran into in the box a couple of minutes ago and stayed down for quite some time. He just collided with Skopoulos, complete accident. Good to see that he's okay. Approaching the hour mark. It was 2-0 at half-time. South have got one back. Ishveer Singh immediately halving the deficit for South Melbourne after we came out of the sheds. Hume just trying to lock it in deep here right now. Debele still the main threat up front. Bay's been moving around nicely as well. One shot blocked. O'Kane brings it back under control for Hume City. This is Kador. Sent forward by the unlikely goal scorer in Steve White. Fully under the artificial light now. We did start in beautiful sunshine here on a late summer's Thursday evening. We have had some rug up there now though, Nick. It's starting to come in off the lake. Quite chilly out here. Debele goes down. Bayu not getting much of a look. We might be able to retrieve that ball ourselves. It's landed right next to our commentary booth. We'll get a restart eventually. Nick Debano has gone to fetch that ball and bring it back in. For the young ball boy who's waiting for it to come back. We now get some live play once more. Nick Debano's done his job and sent the stray ball back. Oldfield. Lands right in front of Bayu. Didn't get to Kurta, which just came in out of nowhere. So at least blast one forward momentarily for South Melbourne in Singh's direction. 2-on-1, and the numbers win out for Hume City. And here's some space for Adisu Bayu. He's made a few decent runs in this game so far. Engelhardt tried to play Kurta in wide. It was ultimately all missed times between Engelhardt and Kurta. Bayu gets another look. Releasing Kador. Beaten to the ball though. Curta for White. Spink, a first half substitute here this evening. The ballet has Inglese all over him, just at the top of the area. It's going to fall for Curta. Not much power off the left boot. Nothing to worry about in the end for Javi Lopez. So Inglese. That's a Lopez. I'll just chip around the back here. South played a patient game. Now something a little more direct. Skopoulos through the middle. A little tug of the shirt there for Aiden Coyne. Hume are going to get the ball eventually. And the home fans not happy. It does look as though we might be getting another change from Siniša Katazic momentarily. Unsurprisingly, perhaps going to run through the bench here this evening. South Melbourne back in action. Only a couple of days in the Pro League. Another foul given away by South Melbourne. Card shown as well. And Jack Morgan's had to hand out a few cautions here this evening. Can't for now confirm who the card has been shown to. Here's the change though, so we're going to see Noel Bernardo coming on. It will be a double change here for South Melbourne.
For South Melbourne FC coming off. Number 13, James Lackey coming on. Number 24, Noel Bernardo.
So Bernardo on for Lackey, the second
coming
move.
Off, number 19, Aaron Koch, Enrico Mezzaruni. And coming on, number 11, Yuki Uchida.
Yuki Uchida makes his way on for Mezzaruni, the second change. For Siniša Katazic, he is definitely looking at clearing out the entire bench here this evening. 5 substitutions have now been made for South this evening.
Chance now for Hume already down this right-hand side through Engelhardt. As Adam mentioned, the bench has been cleared out here for South Melbourne. Full complement of players coming on, the likes of Noel Bernardo and Yuki Uchida. Just going back through the recent form, Adam, it's actually been quite some time between drinks that South Melbourne have tasted defeat. Undefeated in the OFC Pro League. Undefeated, of course, so far in NPL Victoria before today, and then had their Australian Championship success. So, get the exact number up for you in just a moment. But South Melbourne, right now, staring down the barrel of potentially their first defeat in quite some time. But it's been a lot better in this second half, and now when you're bringing on Noel Bernardo and Yuki Uchida, it's 2 very, very handy players to come on when you're chasing an equaliser, and perhaps they'd be hoping a winner as well. As Adisu Bayu, great work there, but his pass is intercepted by Charlie Leach, and it's turned over. Here's Burkett Kadar, plays alongside him. Kador cuts inside, the shot's blocked, chested down to DeBelle, and Giannakopoulos with a key intervention right at the last moment. And Hume still presenting such a threat going forward. As we tick over an hour played, still leading 2-1, courtesy of those goals from Steve White and Adisu Bayu. Ishveer Singh's goal, setting things up beautifully, though, in this second final 45. But we're 18, just about 19 minutes through. Hume taking their time here with this throw-in. And there'll be a goal kick off Chris Engelhardt last. So, South with a very, very attacking side out there at the moment. When you think about their usual midfield pairing of Pasquale and Giannakopoulos. Giannakopoulos playing at centre-back and Pasquale off the field. They've got 2 nominal attacking midfielders in Leach and Pope playing as the the holding midfielders, and then just the full array of attacking players up front with Bernarda and Cox, Singh, Uchida. So really leaving no stone unturned in chasing some points out of this game. Got a free kick here now for the visitors. Steve White on free kick duties. His goal opening the scoring for Hume. O'Kane plays it into the box. Out comes Lopez, and good collect there from the Spaniard. It's a battle tonight between two of the well-tenured goalkeepers down here in Victoria, two of the best perhaps in NPL Victoria history, and Javi Lopez and Chris Oldfield still going strong out there today. Plenty of battles throughout the years have those two had. Bernarda, great first touch. Still going here, the Argentine. Uchida, lovely switching ball towards Cox, but just bounced ahead of him. And it's out of bounds and out for a throw-in here to the visitors.
Yeah, so Sinisa Kudhadzic, he's placed full faith in his strength and conditioning department now. If anyone goes down, in the infield at least, there's no one to come on and replace. It's only the backup goalkeeper left now, Jake Charleston, sitting on the pine. He's also kept on Aaron Cox, who is sitting on a yellow card and has been for quite a fair portion of the game. Here's Bernarda. Scored last time we had this matchup at this venue last season. Engelhardt. Kurta, who scored in that exact same game from the spot. That was to make it 1-1 in the 82nd minute. Didn't take long for Noel Bernarda to put the winner away only a couple of minutes later. I think that was the night we had the row your boat celebration over on the right side. Only a couple of minutes after the Kurta equaliser. It was Leach trying to barge his way through. Wins the foul. It's a small crowd, but it's a vocal one here tonight at Lakeside. No cautions this time from Jack Morgan. So South Melbourne are searching for an equaliser here. There were 7 changes from the 11 that took down Avondale in the season opener. Well, their season opener at least. Last week in the league. I know South have had quite a busy schedule since the end of the last NPL Victoria season. Incoming ball, and there is some tall timber down there. The header attempt wasn't all that far away. Had Giannakopoulos made contact. Ball sent skyward by Pope. Hume going to get the foul call here. The ball had ricocheted up in the air. Little ginger is Steve White. Singh was the main man involved there for South Melbourne. Chris Oldfield will blast one forward here for Hume City. Landed in between Zabele and Kurta. And Glaze got boot to ball for South Melbourne. So you want to talk about 7 changes from that Avondale team, Nick, and then already 5 in this game alone. With the entire bench cleared out for South Melbourne. They are really going to be a fascinating case study with how the squad is utilised just from game to game. It's now going to be a busy league schedule for them as well. And Spanana out wide here. He's a handy player to have some fresh legs in the second half, that's for sure. He gets a corner. Also spoke about this being their last home game here for a little while. They are going to host Bentley in a couple of weeks. A round 4 game that will be at the home of the Matildas. I'm sure I would have loved to reunite with Bentley here in the top flight here at home, but that won't be the case for South. It's a predicament they're quite used to come the Grand Prix time of year, early in the year. At the back here, no contact is made in the end. It was Inglese falling over. But the Hume City defenders, Chris Oldfield, didn't know much about it either. Eventually just bounced across the goal face and nothing to worry about in the end. But a dangerous corner that was nearly converted. Change coming up. And it will definitely be a Hume City change. Naoki Tsukamoto. I think that was the number I saw coming on. Nick, not sure what's going on here at the moment.
Substitution for
we'll get confirmation
Hume
now.
City.
Birkan Kurda, by the look of it.
10, Birkan Kurda. And coming on, number 21, Eiki Tsukamoto.
Naoki Tsukamoto makes his first appearance for Hume City. I wonder what he'll bring to the table.
Former Eastern Lions midfielder coming on here for his Senol NPL Victoria debut for Hume City. So spent time with Perth Glory's youth team. I crunched the numbers in that period of time there, Adam. Since their last loss, which was in the final round of last season against Oakley, South Melbourne have gone 15 games unbeaten in all competitions. Of course, one of those games only in NPL Victoria, but they have been very busy throughout the NPL off-season. 9 Australian Championship games, the 5 OFC Pro League games, and of course, last week's win against Avondale. So it's been a long time between drinks for this South Melbourne team, as Ushida looking to create some havoc here. Ricochets into the night sky, and it's cleared away. Giannakopoulos under pressure from DeBelle. Skopoulos. Bernarda looking for Uchida, flicks it through. Here's Singh, and he wins a corner. He's caused all sorts of problems since coming on. Ishveer Singh already has a goal to his name. Here the South Melbourne faithful looking to will their team over the line here. Putting the pressure on Hume. Can they find the all-important equaliser here? Got into a very dangerous position, but an important header, but it's just going to be a corner down the other end. So another chance here for South. And it's going to be Andre Skopoulos who will be on corner duties this time to use his trusty left foot. Valuable experience for Skopoulos, so you can imagine we'll be seeing a lot of minutes over the next few weeks as they balance both league and pro league duties. Skopoulos into the back post. Uchida looking to cut back inside, and he's won his team a throw-in. The ball hemmed inside South Melbourne's half at the moment, and O'Sullivan coming over to take the long throw. Chance of let's go Ethan coming from the South Melbourne fans as well. It's a will on the youngster here. O'Sullivan launches it into the box. A few bodies go to ground inside the area. DeBelle does well to hold off Jack Pope, and he wins the free kick. Very well played again from Godfrey DeBelle, who has put in an enormous shift for Hume City tonight. Gone toe-to-toe with Yankovic, Inglese and Giannakopoulos and done a brilliant job. And you get the sense his performance will lock himself into that number 9 role at least for the next little bit. Chris Oldfield sending it long upfield. Skopoulos wins the throw. Just under 16 minutes plus stoppages remaining. Can South keep this undefeated run alive as Bernarda flicks it on? Free kick coming back here to Hellas. Slowly working their way up the field, getting a little bit of extra territory, but here's O'Sullivan. Pope looking to turn his man. Big challenge there with O'Kane, and Giannakopoulos was unable to deal with it. He's under pressure there from Tsukamoto. Here goes Engelhardt looking to take it upon himself, and a big challenge there from Bernarda. And who did that come off last? The referee, Jack Morgan, says it came off Bernarda's leg. And it's a corner, and again, Chris Engelhardt goes to ground. Did really well to take that upon himself and have a go. Hume just taking a few extra seconds in no particular rush to take this corner. You can imagine referee Jack Morgan will be adding up the seconds.
It's got to be a matter of time before we see Josh Bingham. I think he's having a chat at the moment with some of the staff. Englehart's been in the wars a little bit. Looks like he might be okay, Nick. Looks like he will be, but Josh Bingham surely gets a look at some stage.
We think in this sort of position here, Adam, he'd be best suited. Ball whipped into the area, but Javi Lopez did well. So, still plenty of time in this one. Plenty more defending for Hume to do. They're going to come away with their first win against South in 11 league games. DeBelle. Well defended there by Bernarda, doing a little bit of work at the other end of the field this time. Giannakopoulos turns it over though. Cheetah looking to win it back. Well played there by O'Kane. Hume under the pump here as Singh looking to put the pressure on Aaron Calver, but all the class and experience there to step by him was on show, but he's turned it over. Here's Leach. Cox waits a moment and now puts on the afterburners. Going at Kota Kador here. Seemingly Kador holding onto his face there as Cox puts the ball into the area. Uchida, Singh looking to hold it up. Goes to ground on the edge of the box. Jack Morgan unmoved. Long ball forward here. The foot race is on between DeBelle and Giannakopoulos. DeBelle does well. And Tommy Giannakopoulos did very well. And he wins that battle. Calls of encouragement coming from the South fans. Skopoulos back from Pope. And wins his side a throw-in.
Intensity definitely lifting right now at Lakeside Stadium. And it could go any which way. It's been a good way to kick off the second weekend of the new Senol NPL Victoria season. As it stands, Hume City in a good position to claim their first points of the season and break what is becoming a really significant drought against South Melbourne. South on this hot streak at the moment that started all the way back at the start of the championship. Back in, actually, might have been October, I think it was, the start of the championship, Nick. And all throughout November, obviously, they did salute at the end. And they've had a good start in the Pro League as well. They'll be in action again in just a couple days. All sorts of chaos in the middle of the pitch, and eventually we did see Giannakopoulos come away. Jack Morgan then eventually decides to stop play. He's got some yellow in his hands. Who is it for? It's been shown to Braden Spink. Players down all over the place here as well right now. We've got Tsukamoto on his haunches. He's only just come on. There's going to be a double change here. And here is Josh Bingham about to enter the fray for Godfrey DeBelle. We saw the opposite sub between
Double
those two last week.
For Hume City FC, coming off number 9, Godfrey DeBelle. And coming on number 11, Josh Bingham.
So Debele for Bingham. That'll be the move up front. Chris Engelhart, who perhaps unsurprisingly now is going to come out of the game.
City.
Jacob Adams will be the man coming on.
Number 23, Christopher Engelhart. Coming on, number 12, Jacob Adams.
And so a new look now in attack for Hume City to round out the last 10 minutes of regulation. It's finally poised right now here on a Thursday night. We get a resumption now. Bernardo was off balance, tried to play back in. And the flag ends up going up on South Melbourne. So Hume have just steadied a little bit after conceding that early second half goal. Ishvia Singh, who was a halftime substitute, came on immediately and put one away. You'd probably want to be in Hume's shoes right now. South have plenty of distractions, obviously, with their schedule. There might be a chance up front here for Bayou. Had 3 defenders around him for a moment. Now it's 2. Has to play back. Bingham's first touch is almost a goal. And probably should have been a goal, if you want to be a bit cynical about it. What a lovely little chip over the top to set that ball up. There was not much room at all to work in for Bayou. And Bingham, well, the chances don't come much better than that, but it's not to be. They still have the lead, though. Uchida is not going to get to this ball first.
Eight minutes plus stoppages remaining. South Melbourne breathe a sigh of relief after that Josh Bingham miss. And now, chasing an equaliser are the home side. O'Sullivan on long throw duties again. And the call there from the assistant to take his run up from a little bit further back. Sullivan straight into the box. Pope looking to chase this one down. Pope still with possession. And Leach has a go, but was never likely. And it's off the outside of the boot and out for a goal kick. So taking a look ahead at South Melbourne's schedule, just as a bit of a reminder, on Saturday night, they're top of the table clash against Auckland in the Pro League. Then they're in action against Tahiti United on Tuesday night. South Island United on Friday night. Then Altona Magic in the NPL on Saturday night. It's a crazy fixture, and then they play their catch-up game from round 1 of the Pro League against Solomon Kings the next Wednesday. And then Bentley Greens the following Saturday. So they're going to have to keep as many of these bodies fresh as possible. And every point, particularly in the NPL in this early stage, will be almost worth its weight in gold for them. Especially if they're able to get an equaliser here. Skopoulos puts it out for a throw-in. Have to wonder those of an Auckland persuasion watching on with keen interest tonight. So it is the under-23 Auckland side. A couple of their A-League men's players dropping down and a few familiar faces in that team as well who have played in the top tier. 2 top sides in the Pro League going head-to-head at Olympic Village. Looking forward to that one as Jack Pope. Uchida. Here's Cox. Back to Uchida. Well defended there by Adams. The substitute coming on and looking to shore up that defence. A back 5 out there at the moment for Hume City. Taking no chances at the moment. Inglese. Yanakopoulos. Leach turns it over. Hume can go here. Tsukamoto waits for his options. Has Steve White here. Back to Tsukamoto. Back to Kane. Coyne. Calva. Adams. First time ball. Straight to O'Sullivan, who just sends the ball long upfield first time. Chris Oldfield marshalling things from the back. All his experience, you can hear him from all the way up here in our commentary booth barking instructions as Bernarda, Pope, back to Bernarda. Still going in, Noel Bernarda. Singh falls to him and the shot's blocked. Already has one to his name. And denied at the last moment was the substitute. Cox into the area. Uchida! Scramble inside the box. And Oldfield retrieves. Whew. A very nervous moment there for Hume City, Adam.
I'll take a breath. What an outstanding block that was, by the way, by Aidan Coyne. It could be a match-saving one for Hume City. Inside 5 minutes left before we reach the 90. Lopez will guide it to Inglese, and South will launch another attack. This crazy schedule that they're about to face. Hume are going to get the ball here. You do look ahead a little bit, Nick. You wonder, well, how many players are out there right now, the 11 that are out there that maybe do get the start against Auckland. Harvey Lopez aside. I think maybe Noel Bernarda, who was a second half substitute here tonight. So he won't have too many petrol tickets taken out of him in this fixture. Inglese maybe at the back. With all the depth that South do have there, maybe not, we'll see. Yuki Uchida's a second half substitute here tonight as well. And he can certainly provide some spark as well. There are so many big names that aren't out here at the moment. A few that didn't even get into the squad at all tonight. So Max Mikola, Jacob Aliopoulos, Jack Pater Andrews, Jordan Lampard among the names that haven't featured at all here. We're approaching the ends here. Hume holding on to a 2-1 lead. Adisu Bayu has been quite threatening tonight for Hume City. Kador working in the phone box, does eventually get out. Kador still on top of this. Could have gone to Bingham, decided to play back instead to O'Kane. Here's a chance. Bayu just went aerial. From our angle, Nick, I can't tell how close he was to that. He may well have been well off. But boy, if that was close. I mean, theatrical finishes is something that Hume can be known for. We did see Lloyd Isgrove pull some of those tricks out in the last couple of years. Adisu Bayu, that was, even if he didn't connect, that was one for the highlight reel anyway.
Wow. Thought for all money he was going to make clean purchase, but nonetheless, here goes Aaron Cox. Crosses it into the area, looking for a cheater. Falls in a Pope. Shots blocked. Skopoulos. Uchida. Waiting for his options. Skopoulos offering in support, but the touch is heavy. And it's out for a goal kick. Hume closing in on victory here. They're next in action back at home against Bentley next Friday. And by the time that Hume are back in action, South would have gone through a full another 90 and getting full 2 lots of 90 and going in for their third on the same night. It's an incredible week coming up for South. But Hume get a nice 8-day break before they take on George Katsakis' side back at home. On the road again to play Green Gully, then both Dandy sides, Thunder at home and Dandy City away in their next 4. So some big games coming up for them after tonight. But still got a little bit more work to do here. Kota Kador just slowly making his way back to his feet. Been mightily impressive against his former team tonight. Player who was part of Western United's A-League men's side and landed at South Melbourne after the club went into hibernation, with a few of the others who are out there tonight. Seb Pasquale, Luca Kovney obviously on South's roster as well, not in the squad tonight, but Koda Kador is part of that Australian Championship winning team for South, now looking to be part of the team that gets Hume their first win against South in 5 years in all comps and 7 years in the league. And we're just awaiting the confirmation. It'll be 5 minutes of added time, so plenty of time here. Strap in at home.
The official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 5 minutes on added time.
These 5 minutes will feel like 5 hours for Hume City. Long ball forward towards Bernarda. Bayou getting back and doing some defending. Also been very impressive here for Hume. O'Sullivan takes it quickly. Here's Pope. Bit too heavy with his touch. And the ball goes out for a throw-in.
Five minutes will be welcome news for South Melbourne. Kador, as Nick mentioned, has put in quite a shift tonight. Bayou gets a little shirt tug. Bingham had a golden chance not long after coming on. Just misplaced his header. Clumsy really there on Uchida. A yellow card shown. Another one for Hume City tonight. So South go onto the press once more. Where's this equaliser going to come from? Singh is a likely source. Uchida just keeps it in. He's got the one-on-one to engage with now. Had the release option available. It's just lobbed into the box. The red presence was strong, though. Bayou all over the park tonight. White. It was his goal that kicked things off for Hume City in the 27th minute. First score in NPL Victoria. Only his second appearance for Hume City. O'Kane. Tsukamoto. Didn't get great purchase on his clearance. Now South Melbourne go forward again. Pope gets pickpocketed though. Hume City off to the races once more. And there might still be a chance here. It's Steve White again. It's just gone wide. The defensive effort's proving just to be enough in the end. Suddenly Steve White's a threat up front for Hume City. That ball has just gone beyond the reach of Nawal Bernarda, but that was not far off at all. It's safely in the hands of Chris Oldfield. It's opened up late. It's turned into chaos ball here at Lakeside Stadium. You've got to be enjoying this if you're watching this on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. Opening game of round 2. 5 more to look at tomorrow. And we'll close it out on Saturday. O'Kane going out wide. No way through for Coyne. O'Kane goes in to try to clean it up. He and Uchida come together. Jack Morgan has to come in and sort things out. We've gone beyond 3.5 minutes of the added time. And right now, South don't have possession. Nick DeBano.
Hume closing in on all 3 points. Steve White and Adisu Bayou's goals before half-time look set to be the difference. South can go as Leach's pass comes off the outside of the foot and it's out for a throw-in. We've ticked over 4 minutes of added time played and Hume will take every second that they possibly can here. Tsukamoto looking centrally for Bayu. Tsukamoto does well to hold up the ball, but it goes out for a throw-in. Pope gets things moving quickly. Big collision there in front of the Hume City bench. And that's that! Hume have ended the drought.
Full time at Lakeside Stadium.
Their first
Final
win
score, South Melbourne
against
1,
South
Hume
Melbourne
City 2.
in
We
NPL
draw our
Victoria
attention to
action
the OFC
in
Pro League
7 years.
on Saturday, the 21st
Their first in all
of
competitions in
February
5,
against Auckland
and their
FC.
first
It is the top of
points
the table
of
class. Ticket tickets on
2026.
Index. The game will be held
Steve White
at
opened the
Heidelberg
scoring for Hume
United
City
ground at the Olympic Village.
before Adisu Bayu made it
Kickoff
2-0 to
at 7
Hume before
p.m.
half-time.
Thank you and
Ishveer
good night.
Singh brought one back for South Melbourne at the start of the second half. But Hume held strong to come away with their first win of 2026 and get off the ground after last week's false start. And South Melbourne, well, their attention now turns to a very busy couple of weeks. OFC Pro League action for them on Saturday against Auckland City. Sorry, Auckland FC, not Auckland City. Before many more games coming in this Melbourne hub, Adam Sarakoglu.
Yeah, that's huge for Hume City. 3 points that they are really going to desperately need if they can't get things going throughout the season and they want to avoid that relegation conversation. And now we've seen 180 minutes of football for South Melbourne in the league this year, Nick DeBarno, and I think what's clear, it's going to be a wild ride if you're a South fan and you're just not going to know what you're going to get each week. At the moment, it's a box of chocolates, South Melbourne in the league in particular, with so many other things going on in their schedule. They've got that really tough stretch coming up now. They were really good in the second half, though. They came out full of heart and really took it to Hume City all the way to the end. Couple of chances going begging late. Hume City ends up holding on, so a really good game to open up round 2 here in Senol NPL Victoria. But it's just going to be a fascinating watch every single time South take the pitch in the league. Squad changes, conditioning is going to be something that is going to be fascinating to see even after the Pro League is over and done with. They've had such a long stretch of games for quite a while now, barely an off-season. So, yeah, we had it all here tonight, and it just sets up so well, doesn't it, for us neutrals that just want to sit back and watch this. It's going to be as unpredictable as ever, Senol NPL Victoria this year.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's going to be, as you said, a very fascinating case study over the next few weeks, particularly as well when they have to head overseas too and play in those hubs in Fiji and the Solomon Islands and New Zealand and still have to balance NPL Victoria football. There's still a whole season here in the league that is still going on alongside their OFC Pro League duties, so I'm sure their S&C staff are going to be working overtime to make sure that the players' loads are managed correctly. But for Hume City, they're the story of tonight. Big winners. You can see them on the field right now in a huddle. They had a tough end to last season, missed out on finals, and a big start for them. Lots of turnover in the off-season. A disappointing loss last week against Altona, but coming here against their bogey side and coming away with their first 3 points of 2026. Signing off here from Lakeside Stadium. Plenty more NPL Victoria action coming tomorrow night with 5 games right across the state. But thank you very much for your company here on the NPL Victoria YouTube page. I've been Nick DeBarno and joined by Adam Sarakoglu. The final score here, South Melbourne 1, Hume City 2.